Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Mystic Trainwreck Podcast. It's your host and favorite really bald dude. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you have another bald dude you like. But I'm Rob Randolph. Underneath in the little greeny area, it's Christopher Lee. Doctor.
Hello.
He's in his truck because people showed up to look at his house early. So he's there. You go.
Hi.
Here I am. Yeah, it kind of made me angry, so I thought I'd shoot an angry white guy in truck video.
Perfect.
Classic pandemic style. Classic pandemic style. Let me tell you about the real estate scam.
Preach.
I don't have it in me. I've been working so hard, I don't have even a complaint in me.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Oh, also Crass Joy is with us. Hi.
Hello, Crash.
Hello. Hello, open window.
I feel like you're
I gotta tell you,
there. You go. Perfect. You need a PBR though.
Yeah.
I got a Polar.
Close enough.
No, just a Polar.
That's basically the
If
same thing.
PBR makes a non-alcoholic beer, will the world end?
Wouldn't it? I mean, how much alcohol would they have to take out?
Negative amounts.
Negative amounts, because it's already pretty non-alcoholic, from what I understand.
Right. So they'd have to put alcohol in it to make it less alcoholic.
Like cures like.
Anywho, do we know what we're talking
But
about?
anybody out there in the world,
Oh, go ahead.
what were
please.
we talking about?
No. Angry truck guy, please continue.
Oh, I was just going to say if there's anybody out in the world who's selling their house and is going to buy a house and the real estate agent says, we can go early, just say, nah. I know what it's like to sell a house and how annoying that is. Let's go for ice cream instead for half an hour. That's my anger for the day. That's all I got. That's me raging angry.
Rage.
I have to fire somebody today, so
Oh, that's terrible.
that's new for me.
How does that how are you approaching that?
As legally as possible.
So it is future.
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Okay.
So I like tonight, I'm deactivating a bunch of passwords and making sure a bunch of accounts are not accessible in the morning. And that's a bummer, but it is the situation I'm in. So there it is.
Yeah. So are you going to replace this person or have they been made redundant?
No, they are going, I would like to replace them as soon as possible. It was an issue of performance, just not listening to instructions well and not being detail oriented and making work for other people. And
Yeah, the making work for other people thing. That's a really hard one in a cooperative setting. It's easy to get resentful of people when they do that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a giver.
And we got a lot of givers on our staff, so it's
Imagine so.
yeah. So it's a bummer, and this is the first time we've had to do this. We haven't actually, like, it's weird that not weird, but we haven't had to let anybody go since the pandemic. So we have all these new structures in place, and we're like having to navigate the process of severing of the severance, like through all these different weird entanglements, that we wouldn't have to do before. Like, how do we get the equipment back? Like, they have a computer that is ours. Like, that's something we thought about when this started, but We were like, all right, that's a bridge we'll have to cross when we come to it. We're at the bridge.
And it's a remote job.
Mm-hmm.
Is it close by?
So I guess, yeah, hard to say
Relatively.
what to do now, but in the future, I guess you can always have them so that you can deactivate the laptop remotely and then send them a prepaid box to ship it back in or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Doesn't
was
help this time, but
no.
something like that.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say definitely put it in your contracts going forward that upon any potential termination, that such and such will be the way it will go down. And then I don't know how inappropriate this might be of like reaching out to be like going there to give them their last like funds in exchange for the equipment, like in person.
We don't have there's nobody close. I mean, there's where they are and where we are is it's a big drive. Not a lot. It's not. It's like an hour plus, but like, no, everything will be handled. Like we have some stuff in place for what we're doing, but it's just like having to navigate this today was not on my agenda. And like
Yep.
a couple of straws over the camel's back were laid down today, and when it was just like, okay, this is too much now.
They're still making more work now for you.
Yeah.
As it goes. That's life.
That's
What?
the nature of work. Yeah, it's collaboration with people. There's always what archetype is that though? The one that ends up creating more than the workload available.
I mean, I don't think there is no one archetype, but when you get combinations, for example, the archetype of expansion and the archetype of like some, I don't know, just toxic purpose or purpose. I don't know. Combine anything with like a magnification, for example, and you got a hard situation.
Yeah.
But
It's really bad when managers are engaged in that type of behavior,
Mhm.
because then that creates a lot of busy work.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to subjugate ourselves to make capital to pay for things that should be free on this planet, like shelter, food, water. And then I always, in my paranoid way, think of it as a power play on top of that. When people do that, they're just, oh, so and so will take care of it. Oh, I didn't realize those consequences were going to happen. Oops, that kind of thing.
Mm.
It's kind of a failure to think ahead in some cases.
I like how
It's a very sticky space. Yeah, go ahead.
I like how you brought to attention. I feel like what you brought to attention is a good solution to a bit of a problem that I've been thinking about for, I guess, just the way culture, society is set up. Society is set up, and our culture in proxy to it. Where like we are, so many of us are struggling to make quote ends meet, the food, shelter, water, and etc. And there really is like, that's a good way of, it's a good way of not having UBI from a top down scenario, the way it would come through government now. It's a good way of giving like basic human rights to everyone by supplying those, like by focusing on the anyways, you get it, of those things, and then everything else is fluff and fun and profit and effort.
That would be kind of a nice situation where you had a communist economy for what was necessary for survival, and then you had commerce on top of that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And think about how creative we could all be if we were released from the most insulting way to put it is earning a living. Is a living something I earn? It's weird to think about it that way.
To our species, it actually is. Well, to our species, it actually is. It seems like it's pretty built in. Like it's just like not too many people question the need to earn. Like not too many. You could argue that not too many people have enough space to do it, but ultimately, I think not too many people overall actually do it. I don't know.
Do
Much
what? Do what?
Like question,
Oh, I see.
yeah, question to the amount of any further action.
Right.
Sorry, other angry guys with trucks are driving by. Yeah, I think it's important to question not just on the basis of skepticism, but also like if there's something I'm continually annoyed by, then I think it's okay to say, hey, why is this? I understand it is the way it is, but can we talk about why it is? Why? Where did this earning a living come from? Where was the transition from sit on my ass eating nuts and berries, grooming my partner, daydreaming, to whatever it is now? Basically, if I don't go to work, if I take a sick day, I won't eat next week, right? Like,
But right, but that's what we're doing it for. The security of knowing we're going to eat next week. Like you totally could just daydream and groom your partner all day. Like nothing stopping you. Like, but
yeah,
there is the idea that like, oh no, I want the security. Like I want a nicer meal than what I can find in the forest. I want a nicer bed than one that would be provided for me by the state. I want, take your pick. I want indoor plumbing for fuck's sake.
That's a good one.
that'd be great for commerce, right? If your needs were taken care of, if you could be a person where you're like, I'm going to daydream and actually be alive and be able to function in society. And then occasionally I could create art and sell it or whatever, I just think the basic needs, if you had something there for people to, I guess they call it a safety net in this country, huh? But if it wasn't a safety net, rather a platform that you stood on to better yourself, rather than something to catch you when you find yourself at odds with an antagonistic system.
No disagreement there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot on my mind since I did the bungee jump, This is how cults start. Someone goes, what if it were different? And they try to make it different, and then the sex happens, and then someone ends up committing suicide by hang glider.
Right. Okay. That got specific. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Aquarians. That's how that guy ended the cult there. He grabbed a hang glider and he said, I'm going to take off. And he did. And he crashed. And while laying there with his broken body surrounded by his acolytes, he said, this was a very bad idea.
That's good. That's good. He avoided so many layers of karma by
Yeah, he really took it head on. and back on, and spine and all the other stuff.
Mhm.
I am superstitious about the last moment of death and like how you go into the next whatever.
Mm.
Like that's the stamp of if there whatever judgment you might have upon your own soul. I don't know.
That's a very Norse,
Nice.
yeah, very much about how
Also,
I was just reading about that in Shawnee Oates' book, The Hanged God. Odin Grimnir.
ooh, very cool. Very
Yes.
cool.
Uh,
Very interesting.
from Anathema Publishing, you know, just giving them a shout out. It's a good book. Yeah. I think
I
it's
love that word.
yeah, it's a good word. Anyway, the thing about old Odin cults is a method of death / execution had a lot to do with where you got stuck
Mhm.
and what your job was, and talk about earning a living. How about earning a death?
Earning an afterlife.
Yeah.
In the afterlife. Yeah. Well, even in there, you earn your
I
death. Yeah.
feel though that earning my death is much closer to what I'm doing now.
Hey-oh.
Yeah.
Isn't it true?
For some, when you unpack death, you get afterlife.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with my reconciling my personal thoughts about the afterlife with my desire to do things right here. Right? That should not really affect me much here. Otherwise, it's not quite the genuine process. I don't know, but I have a sneaking suspicion that's true. My ego is so strong, though.
Mm.
But what do you think happens at the moment? Do
Oh,
you
I'm
believe that your heart is weighed against the 42 feathers or whatever, or against feathers and judged by the 42 judges?
Not necessarily, not in particular, but I don't think something universal happens to everyone at their passing moment. I think that's precisely what we're living, like we're framing we're framing our creation, we're creating our creation. I don't know. I feel like I recently came to just identify as a consciousness plant.
Me too. That's not that weird.
What's a consciousness plant?
A consciousness plant. I'm just growing. I'm a plant.
Yeah.
And like you'd call my flower consciousness. Like you
Conscious. I thought you said cautious. Oh, yes, that's really good. Yeah, are we developing a consciousness here that's just going to get born into the next world?
I mean, like, there's many ways of looking at that too. Like, yeah, that literal.
I mean, at one point, I was one cell. Yeah, sorry, Craft.
No, go on. You're one cell.
Yeah, at one point I was one cell. And then I was many. And then I was this thing. But my entire universe was this big.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my universe intimately. There were scary, haunted things happening outside of the universe. But I knew my universe. And I'm just wondering if the process is the same here. Do I have to know my universe before I'm ready to get popped out?
Do you have to know it? Doesn't seem so.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to their grave plenty ignorant. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if going to your grave is exiting.
Oh, that
Well,
kind
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think there's a reincarnation cycle or a re-energizing cycle or some sort. Yeah, I'm coming with that hypothesis.
Well,
Both levels apply.
I think so. I mean, the idea of like, we will reincarnate until every being is enlightened type thing.
Or just die one day, wherever, whatever being is at, wherever, whoever being. 9 o'clock brain, guys. I'm telling you.
It's all good. I've been cleaning, so that's where I've been.
Yeah.
And now I live in a house that doesn't look like me. So I hear you. I'm feeling sluggish.
Fair. Yeah, it's been a
I'm
lot.
glad we had a little jam session, Rob, I'm glad we had our little jam session before I had to turn my room into something that I wouldn't recognize.
No, yeah, it was nice, man. It was really pleasant. I wish we had run some.
I feel
tape.
like I know I was so I was actually kind of despondent later that night. I was like, man, I could have easily just pulled up tracks, but well, next time.
Yeah, it's all right.
We kind of loop back to our first discussion here, right? Like, how do you deal with the daily life while you're also growing like a consciousness plant?
I think that's what Mystic Trainwreck implies too, in general.
Exactly. I mean, I'm doing this really space-timey, financial, disgusting thing right now. I'm involved in this very immoral, gooey, corrupt activity. What's my recourse? Just meditate more? The typical answer?
I mean, actually, yeah, but
I mean, that's what I asked a Buddhist a question. The answer was detachment.
I give myself that answer like so often.
oh, I don't think it's necessarily detachment. Maybe meditation is not the thing. I'm not talking about an emptying practice. I'm talking about well, for me, it's an investigation into the disgustingness. That's where I like to go.
Yeah. I think that's also meditative. I think meditation is a energy spectrum, don't you?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
There's like high energy meditation, obviously, that has a lot of high spiritual. I mean, it's chakra if you want to talk about it chakra wise, right? It's just different levels of your chakras activating if you'd like to do it that way.
Sure. Or even just humming at different frequencies or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. We should at some point try to get a list of all the frequencies claimed by everybody to affect different things.
Mm-hmm.
And try to come up with an average or a table or something that we could perhaps test.
Right. Yeah. I think there are people working
the
on that.
Hemisync method. Hemisync says 7.8, 7.3
Mm-hmm.
hertz is where you're aiming for.
Yeah.
So that you're resonating with the natural static electrical field of the Earth, sending your brain waves with a wavelength of about 44,000 miles, something like that, covering the Earth. That's the theory.
That would be theta wave, right? That what really high level meditators have gotten their brains to do.
Yeah.
Theta wave.
I need to educate myself on what they connect, which Greek letters they connect to which frequencies. I don't know them, but theta seems pretty low to me.
Yeah, I believe it goes alpha, delta, gamma. Yeah, alpha, beta, delta, gamma.
There are beta waves, are there?
And then theta.
Are there beta waves? Yeah, alpha. They should go alpha, beta, gamma, delta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then epsilon. They probably don't have epsilon waves. They probably just split to.
No, I think I can just look it up right now. What am I doing?
You guys got it though. You guys got it.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Is there a sub theta wave? Ooh, dibs on the band name.
Sub
Sub beta wave.
Sub data wave.
5. Okay, so here we go. Gamma is 35 hertz. That's a level of concentration. Alpha is relaxed, passive attention. Beta is anxiety dominant, active, alert. Theta is deeply relaxed, focus inward. So that's 4 to 8 hertz is theta. Alpha is 8 to 12. Beta is 12 to 35, and gamma is 35 and above. And then delta is sleep, which is 4 to 0.5. But yeah. And that is coming from
Theoretically, if you could make theoretically, if you could make pressure waves out of some of those higher ones, you could actually hear the brain.
I mean, isn't that
You know, like with your ears, I mean. Like 20 hertz and above, you could probably, if you could make those electrical signals move air like a pressure wave, you could listen to someone's brain.
I think that's how they do those scans.
Real low and real low hum, yeah. That's
Yeah,
probably part of it.
yeah.
Robert Monroe with the hemisync thing, or maybe it was Ventoff, says you've got to get the blood flow between your heart and where your leg split, where the vein splits to go in your leg. There's a reverberation there. And the point is to get your brain and that going around 7.3 to 7.8.
Mhm.
And once you do that, it's apparently supposed to be very simple to just project.
I'm
That's
not
what all
sure
the remote viewing stuff is.
Right, I think you have to be prepared before you start doing that, but I take your point. Yeah, we could try it.
Waves, man.
Where the blood splits.
Where the blood splits.
That's a good band name.
That is pretty good.
Album title.
Oh yeah, album.
Almost as, what's that band, 5 Inches of Blood or whatever?
Is it 5 inches? I thought
There's
it
a traditional metal band called 5 Inches of Blood or something, and they're great.
I don't know them. I think there's. Yeah, I don't know them. I don't even know them well enough to tell you. You might be wrong about the band name. I think it might be 3 Inches of Blood, but I actually don't know.
It might be. 5 sounds terrible. 3 I can handle. That's like, if you're in an elevator, you could probably get 3 with a couple pints let out. Inches, right?
That's a lot.
No, that's,
Lot, dude.
yeah, you got
Very
let's do a
tiny.
quick calculation. An elevator, what's an elevator, like 4 by 4 or something?
In Italy. In a little building.
High, not wide.
Yeah, not wide. No, they're like 5 by 6.
Well, shit, I mean, you've already got 144 times 3 cubic inches of blood that you need to use up there on a 1 foot floor.
Yeah, that's not a small amount.
That's a lot. I'm starting
Yeah.
to think The Shining wasn't real.
Okay,
That was a lot of blood.
that was a lot of blood. I think it was a movie.
Ah.
Okay, guys, I want to tell you guys.
I think that my favorite movie from that director is the one he did about the dudes on the moon.
2001. Is that it? I don't know. What were you saying, Chris?
There's a rumor that
Shut up, Chris.
I never know movies. I can't help. I feel like this is kind of relevant enough. And I feel like you guys will like this idea. I'm going to participate and host a ritual death party where I will be making a tombstone with my name, and I will mourn myself, and I will then carry on.
Right on.
Yes. I feel like,
Are you going to write an obituary?
yeah, exactly. Like, get into it. Because I want to like stimulate forgiveness for like things that are holding me back. And I want to, because rather, I feel like that will lead to openness and space for good things to happen to me.
Oh, just a big ego trip with you, isn't it?
So this is going to be a ritualized thing.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm actually kind of scared to do it. Probably maybe that's why I'm talking about it, to like deflate the idea a little bit.
Mhm.
But that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking of
Are you going to have a wake?
I'm thinking of getting a few friends that are into it that will take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because there will be tears. So,
I think it sounds very cathartic.
mhm. Yeah, and there might be mushrooms, so lots of tears.
All right. I mean, there's a number of rituals I think you're recreating here, but there's a few. I mean, I've definitely heard of these kinds of things before where an initiate is lowered into a casket and then, given some hallucinogenic thing and then basically dies, goes through their own, pre-death death, and then they're extracted, and now they're on the other side of that. Now they're free from their previous fuck ups or whatever, and they're free, they can go be a couch potato and shit.
Oh, you surprise me sometimes.
Simulated death is very important in a lot of cultures.
Well, I mean, even in like the little death, which is sex, which is taboo, and psychedelics in general as a culture is like, why are psychedelics so popular? Like, oh, like go get your ego death, right? So as soon as you implicate that, I think there's extra taboo. But then I think to go and do that kind of ritual is also just what else do you do when you become more conscious of the narrative and you want to participate in the same narrative? You do it consciously, you ritualize it a bit. Like you just, I don't know. It just seems like if I know I want to stimulate something that has been stimulated in such environments before, one can only do such a thing again more consciously, and then consciously doesn't necessarily mean like fucking enlightened, right? Or whatever that's supposed to be. I don't know.
Even things that pop up out of your shadow during this process that might be surprising, that you have no idea what to deal with, or even knowing those exist and having some light shown on them is a really important thing. I think it's great. It could be a really huge benefit from this process that makes more work for you for a long time, but
yeah, that could be an ego death. Realizing you have a characteristic you never embodied before conscientiously definitely is an ego death in a big way.
Well, are you burying yourself or your ego then?
Ultimately it has to be my ego. I'm not going to get into a casket and like be uncomfortable for 17 and a half hours until I have a panic attack. I'm not about that.
Well, I mean, and symbolically, if you identify with your ego, then that would be, one way to do it. Like, but even just from the perspective of what is it that you're burying? how is it connected to you?
I think there's a lot about me I don't like.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
want to talk about
Do you
conscious?
think it's, yeah,
Energy must be transmutated, right?
Mm-hmm. I resonate with that. I was telling Mel the exact same thing yesterday. Like, yo, I still get upset. I still, I still yell when something steps on me or triggers me.
yeah.
I'm learning to get in between my reaction, and I'm gonna fuck up. Because you do. So that's part of it. But there's definitely parts of me that I'm like, I don't want, I don't want to be that guy.
We are many guys.
I think
Yes.
yeah, if you recognize that you aren't, right?
No, I don't think that's true. I think you can recognize it and still do it
I
again.
don't know. No, well, I don't, I guess I'm just taking issue with the identification with your being with these things. And I don't identify with those actions, and I know they're going to happen again. They're a result of karma and ego and biology and all this complicated space-time bullshit that I'm wrapped up in right now. I mean, I try to grow out of it because I feel like it's an emotional maturity thing.
Mhm.
And I've been stunted and had arrested development in that area for a long time. So when I fall now, I'm really disappointed in myself, but I don't identify it with myself anymore. It's not who I am, it's how I've acted. And if I can see it, and if I'm disgusted by it, honestly, it means it's not who I really am. It's like I'm acting in a way, it's a role I'm taking on that doesn't represent my genuine self. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. There it is. It's a role you're taking on that does not represent your genuine self. I completely agree and resonate with that assessment. Yeah.
I could push back on it, though.
That's kind of what
Sorry, go ahead, Russ.
I could push back in as far as I kind of feel like to do that, to give permission to do that in a snowballing fashion would be bypassing. And my method, though I think I am going to take in more of that, but my method would be more to be like, face it dead on, be like, okay, this is a reality that I embody. I can forgive other people that embody this reality. This is equality.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah.
Time and place, really.
I thought about writing the obituary thing
Mm.
at some point, but I haven't. And I sat down to do it, and I lost interest immediately. So I'll be interested to hear what your feelings are upon actually undertaking the project. Because I thought I was all gung ho to do it, and as soon as I sat down to do it, I was like, "This is not worth it for me." And I'm not saying that it's a judge of the process. I'm just saying I had a really interesting experience with it from my perspective, where I didn't follow through with something that I thought I was going to.
Well, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it was because I was afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
wouldn't imagine any other
mhm.
reason. However, okay, I could see a silver lining in just timing. Like sometimes I think pushing too hard is like damages the soul, just as we would damage the body if we dig in. Like
Yeah.
this, yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, we can use that as an excuse to avoid the sort of hormesis we need for advancement and progress, which I know I'm definitely guilty of. So
That's
Yeah.
just it. Like each and every moment requires discernment.
Yeah. Yeah. Attention.
Love.
Paid to what? What are you paying attention to? Well, the saturated field of meaning that is the divine, duh.
Yes. Duh.
What the fuck else is there? Jesus.
When they started putting mindfulness on every magazine cover, I knew that I had to find a different way to express my goals during, or like my in the moment goals to other people, because I would say mindfulness and that would come packed in with all this other social stuff now that's,
Yeah.
and if I tell people, well, what do I mean? I just mean pay attention. Then they get offended because they've been told that they can't pay attention by their authorities.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to tell. It was a good way that you all phrased it, and I'm trying to integrate it so that I can communicate that to other people. It's just this awareness of the moment, right? The Ram Dass, be here now, et cetera, et cetera. Earlier we said, well, meditation's just the key, but really it's just that awareness of the moment, right? And what you choose to do with it, be it go deeper and pull stuff out, be it bury yourself, be it bury your ego, be it, daydream or whatever.
Yeah.
These are psychedelic experiences that are central to our existence as human beings, but to my awareness do separate us from our very near chimp kin, but I'm not sure.
Rocks and minerals could be doing it better.
Certainly a rock is much calmer than I am.
But they could understand.
Yeah, I had.
I can't wait to be.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I have a lag. I want to be reincarnated as Olivine. I want to be that motionless and just have that perspective of Olivine in that perspective for however many millions of years it takes, just to get a little bit of a break from this one. Just a little break from this one.
Meanwhile, the consciousness of it is total chaos for millions of years.
Yeah. Do you think it appears that long to them, or is it just they just go, "Oh, damn! Look at all this crazy shit happening around me."
Geologic time might feel like our time to us,
Mm-hmm.
to geology.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think of like really
know,
big cities as being like yeast infections. Like, oh, I've had this itch forever.
Yeah. Time is so relative, it's hard to say, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
man.
Time could mean, time does mean, time, we think time means the same thing to us all, but time is a very unique experience to us all.
Yeah. I think people making claims about objective time,
We wish it's
we
objective.
wish. Yeah. We have like markers that we can all like say agree, like, oh yeah, that definitely decayed at that rate. And that's what a second is going to be. And we're all going to agree. Okay. Well, how come like those seconds feel longer when like I'm waiting for something?
Mhm, right, yeah. Why?
Yeah, what is the qualitative experience of time passing? That's more interesting to me than like how many clicks I get.
Can you be mindful of time?
I mean, I feel like I have an internal clock to take that one step further already. But not consistent.
I mean, I feel if you're as mindful of it as you can be, all you discover is that it's an apparition,
Yeah.
and
There's those tales of gurus. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
No, that's it. It's the same kind of illusory. We're constructing it to make sense of where we are type scenario. You know, just where we are.
Thinking about the gurus who seem to make it, who seem to make the clock slow down, you know? Have you heard of these people?
Mm-hmm. I mean, sure. I
I've
can
looked
accept
at a clock and,
doesn't really bother,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you all could make a clock slow down by looking at it? Have you had that experience? Did you try that as children?
I feel like I could, but I haven't. So,
I feel like I've been trying to make it speed up my whole life.
Oh,
I,
just to meet us.
I know I couldn't in this moment, but I feel like it's totally possible. So, like, why not?
How do you know you couldn't in this moment?
I already thought about it too much.
Exactly. Because we're creating this reality with our thoughts. And as soon as you let the consensus reality tell you otherwise, you
I'm
can no
committed to
longer
being
suspend
an
the illusion.
idiot loser. Yeah. Just completely devoted to what I am, a piece of garbage.
Oh, if you are 100% behind, 100% behind slowing that clock down, that clock is going to slow down.
Oh, snap. Yeah, we don't know what kind of
Yeah.
technique is used to slow it down. Like, that's
I
actually,
think it's just mindfulness. Yeah.
yeah, no, it is. It's bliss and stillness.
Roll eyes. There's a sticker right there, the eye roll emoji, bliss and stillness. Ugh.
You could hack that shit. You could. You wouldn't get the bliss and stillness, but you could get the effect for sure. You could hack it with like mechanisms. I don't know. The eye roll. The new age eye roll from from new agers to new agers.
It's very new agey in here.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's
that's me. That's me. I love being self-deprecating.
I don't think I am a new ager. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, you know, I like shops
wouldn't
like incense and have crystals in them, but like I don't buy the stuff. I don't know what that makes me.
No, I wouldn't
Well,
call
is
you.
a new ager someone? Is a new ager a consumer?
We're
Lots
all
of things I do,
consumers.
but yes.
No, consumerism is a very large set. New age is not as large a set in it by any means.
Well, what I mean is does one have to consume things to be considered new age? Does one have to consume crystals, et cetera, et cetera? Do you have to buy this stuff?
Well, you could
Because I think I'm pretty damn new age.
Yeah, I think you are too.
I believe in
I would say
Kundalini.
you're
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe in Kundalini and all the whatever's the things in my head and my spine and shit. I said the word earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of this new age stuff that people have been talking is ideas trying to stay alive, and if they're finding their way through some pretty hardcore times these days, scientific rationalization is a tough one.
Mm-hmm. It's really effective.
Yeah, that's the angle Rob kind of comes in. Like Rob's resistance to new agey things, even though Rob, you understand all that shit. You understand it all and you're interested in it.
Mhm.
But I feel like your slight resistance to it makes me not categorize you stereotypically as new agey.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, I guess.
You didn't get judged, but you got judged.
I don't know. I feel like categorization is a really interesting thing to me. So I didn't share that for any purpose of intention other than I think categorization is interesting. Mercury and Aquarius.
Archetypes and astrology, it's all about time and categories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and underneath that, you just have category, and you have gods and whatnot, spirits, all that jazz that are, very old, very, very old ideas that have a certain kind of sentience to them. Yeah, or at least that idea I can get behind.
Well, magic and new age still have their own like jurisdictions or maybe like, I don't know, vibes.
I feel like New Age is a subset of the magic thing. I feel like there are people in the New Age movement that are,
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, sure.
genuine practitioners, and then there are the much larger swath of very ordinary people just trying to do something fun. That's totally
I
fine.
love those people. I love those people so much.
Yeah, like no shade thrown at them. Like whatever you find enjoyment in this life, fucking grab it. Shit. Don't don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Especially some dude on a podcast who's talking about mystic shit.
Mystic Trainwreck Podcast. Yeah.
Train wreck.
We need to have trains hitting each other like on Headbangers Ball from the 1980s.
Nice. I agree. I'll try to figure out how to do that on YouTube.
There's got to be a stock footage site like Pond 5 or something you can get that from.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Sound like you know.
Yeah,
Like
that's where I
celestial
put music anyway.
sounds.
I bet they have that.
Mhm.
Celestial sounds, a train crash, and then like a bass drop.
And then a really long sigh. I'm gonna go see if I can get to my house. Want to come?
Yes.
Cool, man. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
Now
like
I should talk about the government and all that stuff.
Please go.
I'm so tired of things. There's a bump. I'm trying not to lose you. I have you suspended on my my vent and the side of my window here.
looks good so far.
Yeah, it's working.
So what about the government?
Oh yeah, the government is forcing me to sell my house. That's not true. Looks like the people are gone. I'll give you a tour of my neighborhood. There's my neighbors.
Oh, blue house.
There's my house for sale.
Nice.
Yeah. Looks like it's mine for the rest of the night.
Look,
Oh,
by the time anyone else would ever watch this, it'll be someone else's house.
maybe.
You sure? I sure do hope so.
Yeah.
We want to release one of these things at some point.
Yeah, we really should.
I mean, whenever we're ready. I've watched them all, so I have some opinions, and I had a really good time watching them. I had a lot of fun. I
Okay.
really did. We're just such engaging, neat people. I have a backup camera, but I can't stop using the.
Yeah, don't
Mirror.
stop. Don't stop believing in your ability to reverse park. I'm fully into that. Does my new car have? I don't even know if my new car has reverse. I don't think it does. I think that's why I bought it.
It doesn't have reverse.
Reverse camera.
Oh, I was like, your car doesn't have reverse.
Doesn't reverse. Yeah. No, I downgraded again.
You're like, we don't need a transmission or reverse.
No, fuck. No, I'm at the
Oh.
top of a hill. I'll just go down it once.
Yeah, and after that, you just put your feet through the holes in the floorboard like the Flintstones. Just
I will never forget this ride. Like 19 years old, barista in Vancouver, getting picked up by my really strange, like Vancouver uncle, Phil, who drove a bubblegum pink, like super old El Camino type vehicle
Mhm.
with no floor. Like no floor,
No floor.
no floor.
Rusted out, gone.
Yeah, like you could see the whole road. You had to
Holy
keep your
fuck.
feet up. Yeah. Had a roof, no floor. Well, had like a, actually, don't quote me on that. I don't know if it had a roof.
It's just four wheels and some 2x4s.
It was an awesome vehicle. Awesome. I got into some interesting vehicles over my stays in BC.
Yeah. I'd like to go to Cuba just to see the cars.
Have they all had four wheels?
I believe so. Lots of them have been jacked up, like fully jacked up. So good. Love jacked up vehicles.
I need to back up more.
That's what she said.
What? The guy's dick is too short or what wait.
I don't know. I don't want to make fun with. I don't want to make fun of people with little wieners.
No wieners.
No wieners. Well, I mean, I don't know. This is very.
I'm telling you, it's hard to back up once I put a hole in my house.
Did you put a hole in your house?
Yeah, you hit your house once, and then you get all nervous about whether or not you're going to do it again.
The fear stays in you.
It sure does. Even with a. There we go. My goodness. Oregon's a tough place.
Place to park.
There's all sorts of driving and backing up.
I come from Montreal.
Everybody thinks they have the worst everything.
From Montreal. You can hide dead bodies in the potholes out there.
What the hell are we talking about before Chris's
All
fucking?
right.
Oh yeah, we're having a tour going into his.
We were talking about splitting society up into a rainbow of multi-layered government with like communism, idyllic communism at the base level, and like established capitalism for the frosting.
But then it'll just turn into those cake shows where it's all about the frosting.
It'll turn into the exact same world we have now. Yeah, super shitty for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's fine with me.
Let's do it all over again. As long as we're rich this time.
As long as we have some variety of shitty, where we all imagine something better, I think we're pretty good.
I can't complain.
Yeah, as soon as you can't imagine anything better, you're fucked, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure. If you can't imagine it, it can't happen.
Mm. Yeah, it's like, ooh, that's a nice angle.
I did. The first time I did DMT, I was on that couch.
Nice.
Yeah.
The couch. Hi, DMT couch.
Hi, DMT couch.
DMT couch.
Mobile Mystic train wreck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's attached to your Wi-Fi now, so it's much cleaner.
Oh, did it improve?
Mhm.
909.
That's good.
In my universe, it's 909.
909.
Yes.
909. Well, I will I'm gonna commence doing nothing because I'm tired of working on this house. So
Right on. I think I'm gonna get some food. Then I'm gonna go watch a movie with my band.
Sounds good.
enjoy that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Ready.
Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, everybody, have a great night. Thanks for stopping in and listening to us talk about, I don't know what the fuck we talked about.
Yeah, what up?
It went off the rails, and that's the Mystic train wreck.
Yes.
Oh.
Da-da-da.
Dun, dun, dun.
We did it.
We did it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.